This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Today's episode of the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Athletic, premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Listeners of this podcast can save 20% off the first year of an annual subscription by visiting theathletic.com/DSP. Don't miss out on amazing Detroit sports content. Visit theathletic.com/DSP to subscribe and save.
Oh my God!
Welcome to episode 31 of the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast. 31 weeks we've been bringing you wrestling news, notes, and highlights. As always, for the past 31 weeks, he's been the guy, he's been the man. He is my Macho Man to my Hulk Hogan. He is the Doc, John Macaroon. What's going on, cuz?
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here. I'm the man. Woo!
Just like the Nature Boy, styling, profiling, limousine riding, podcaster, living it up, man, watching wrestling, screaming at the television. Definitely, I'm thinking after what I saw on Monday Night Raw, I'm going to put in my application to be a writer.
You should.
And I'm going to put in an application to be the sole writer.
It is lazy writing and booking.
Because
right
if
now.
that crap gets on television, the segments that we saw, then there's definitely room for improvement, because if Fox is going to be hand-delivered a good product, we can't have segments like they had on Monday Night Raw. They're really struggling, bro, with that 3 hours to fill time, and it was bad. It was bad all around. I hate to bring up negativity to start the show, but in the end, it's like the entire wrestling universe is telling you, please stop with the 15-minute intro promo that sets up a match. And not only set up a match, you had 2 matches setting up from the same opening segment. No, nobody needed to see Roman Reigns and all this stuff with Kevin Owens and Jinder Mahal and all this, and then you set it up with another tag match with, Seth Rollins. And no, it just did not need to go down that way. The opening segment of Raw was disappointing. The second hour was trash. And you had probably on par to what we saw last year when we were screaming and yelling on the Doc and Jock podcast when we had the show stuff with wrestling there, where you had This Is Your Life, Alexa Bliss. It was terrible. A year later, you put an equally terrible segment together. Raw was garbage. Absolute garbage. And I'd never really say I regretted sitting and watching through something. I regretted Raw. I was like, man, I could have been watching this, that. I could have been doing something totally different. I was thinking to myself, why am I beating my head over the wall? I could have maybe DVR'd this. I might have to put Raw on punishment and just DVR the shit out of that, because it was a terrible, terrible 3 hours. Awful.
This was one of those episodes where you were almost begging for Vince Russo to come back and just give you something. Just give you something. It didn't matter what it was. It could have been chicks oiled up, wrestling around in a bra and panty match. It could have been a pole on a pole match. Anything. It could have been Vince Russo and they're winning a championship. You wanted something other than what you got. And like you said, we opened up Raw with one of those annoying 15-minute promos that had Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon made a return, Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens. This then led to Reigns versus Owens, and this match was I don't know, I was bored with it. Some people might have enjoyed it. I was kind of bored with it. Jinder came out of nowhere and attacked Roman, which then brought out Seth Rollins, and that's what made it good, because Seth Rollins has been carrying Raw on his back for the last couple weeks now. And, of course, this turns into a tag match. This is what happens. So then we have our tag match, which was pretty basic. Get heat by beating up Roman for 20 minutes, tag Seth, let him run wild, and put on a spectacular show for 5 minutes to get the pin on Kevin Owens. And then Jinder comes out of nowhere and attacks Seth and Roman with a chair, and basically that's your first hour. That is your first hour of Raw. That was garbage. And of course, now we've got Roman versus Jinder at Money in the Bank. It was poor. It was poorly written. You can't even fault the guys for what happened. It was just lazy booking, and it was lazy writing. And then all of this goes into your second hour, and that opens up with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley segment.
Oh.
And as Sammy describes Bobby Lashley as garbage, that's what the entire second hour was. The second hour was trash. Like, there's nothing redeeming that came out of that second hour. Like, I don't want to tell you about Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, because it wasn't good. I don't want to tell you about any of these other matches that we had. We had Baron Corbin and we had No Way Jose for like the 40th time, it felt like. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? It was just repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And that's what we're getting.
How does that make it out of the writer's room? How does that, where they go, we're going to have men dressed as women to portray Bobby Lashley's sisters. How does that make it out of the room? Okay, you can write it. We can be, come in and write something stupid like that. How does that not get nixed by Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, Vince? How does that get
Sami Zayn's face? Like, he knew it was bad, too.
It was bad. How do you save that?
He looked awful. And Bobby Lashley, when Bobby Lashley comes out of the ring, he makes jokes about it. Like, Bobby Lashley needs to come in there and just destroy people. If he'd have came in there and destroyed all three of those she-men and then destroyed Sami Zayn, it would have been a much better segment. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrible.
And you reflect on it and you go, especially in this day and age, I mean, okay, back in the Attitude Era, you could maybe be a little risque with something like that. In this day and age, in the politically correct culture, it was received poorly, and the crowd was just like, what the hell is this? They weren't into it.
At one point, Bobby Lashley put a helmet, like a military helmet, on the guy who was portrayed as, I believe it was Francis, his sister, and then punches the guy in the protective helmet. Yeah. It's a protective helmet, bro. Yeah. What are we doing?
The only redeeming quality of Raw was Stephanie. I think that she has a great pose. She's a great heel. She is really awesome in terms of her placing herself, as the host of the contract signing between Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. I like Stephanie's presence. I like her around Monday Night Raw as the heel, and I think she's got the vibe of being relaxed. She's got, she owns her role. She knows her character, and she's perfect for what she does. But the rest of it, in terms of the way matches were set up, what the purpose of certain things were, didn't make sense on a lot of levels.
It was a totally baffling Raw.
Yeah.
And it was highlighted by the main event, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But I want to delve deeper into something you said. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Stephanie being on Raw. I'm not a huge fan of her heel persona. I do feel like she does control the room. She's masterful with her promos. I think she does a very, very good job. Just because I don't like her doesn't mean that she's bad at what she does. I think she does an exceptionally good job. I feel like she was needed, and she did a great job positioning herself in that contract signing between Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax for the Women's Raw Championship. And I think it was needed. And the reason I feel it was needed and it had to happen was because Rousey does a bad job cutting promos. She's awkward. She's uncomfortable. You can see it. It's on her face and it's in her body language. Nia Jax is just as awkward and doesn't cut a very good promo either. You generally need a heel and a baby face in a match. And right now, Nia Jax is a face. Ronda Rousey is a face. Insert Stephanie McMahon. She carried this entire segment. This is at the end of the second hour. She carried the entire segment on her back.
Yeah.
And she forced Nia Jax to essentially go heel. It was great. It was masterfully done. Stephanie McMahon has a role, and she is very, very good at it. She is exceptional at it.
Man,
I thought she was awesome.
If you want to, play writer, wouldn't it be great if Ronda Rousey turns heel? And
it'd be great.
And then you got Stephanie as her manager out there every single week as her advocate.
It would be great.
Stephanie should be Ronda Rousey's advocate. It should be a big swerve, maybe at SummerSlam or at some point you build up Ronda Rousey as this awesome face, and then she goes corporate.
Yeah,
she's got to go corporate.
It would be awesome.
That'd be a nice way to do it, and then you could have her, be challenged against, all these women that are trying to, fight the man per se. It's the ultimate way. But the third hour had Natalya beating the women's version of the Job Squad to qualify for Money in the Bank. We all can agree that, look, Natty deserves to be in these profile matches. No problem with it. But in the end, you look at it, when you watch the way the women have been utilized on Raw in the last month, you just say more. Do more. You just feel like it's been the Ronda Rousey show, the Ronda Rousey angle, and everything else has been put on the back burner. Yep. It's like, no, look, you have tiers. We know Ronda.
Even when Natty won, it was all about Ronda Rousey.
Exactly. You have tiers. Look, Ronda's the main event status, but you can also feature Natty and the other girls as well. And I think that's what sometimes happens. And it's normal psychologically. You got this new toy, you want to highlight it. She's over. basically Ronda is the main event. She is the it girl right now, but that doesn't mean that the others don't get the spotlight, and that's what it means to be. And it's so hard. Is basically in this day and age, it's either your main event or you're a jobber.
Right.
And we just need a little bit more of that healthy balance of, hey, if you're a mid-carder, you can have something.
I need some good mid-carders. Can we have good mid-carders, please?
Exactly. And it just feels like they're de-emphasized, and it just feels like the mid-carders are used just to elevate the main eventers. And yes, they have a role in doing that, but you can have mid-carders have amazing promos. Mm-hmm. You can have mid-carders maybe elevate themselves to different levels by expanding their range, doing different things, but it just feels like they're in a box and they're trying to get up through it to the top, and then you keep smacking their head and coming back to the bottom.
It's like a glass
it's not
ceiling.
Fun. Yeah, glass ceiling.
CM Punk talked about it. There's a glass ceiling there.
Yeah.
And
that's why others have been successful elsewhere.
Exactly.
With more room to grow and do with more freedom.
Can you explain the main event to me? Because I'm not sure how we got to Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, especially when last week they were a tag team. And the week before that, I believe they were a tag team too, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I don't understand how we got to this main event where Braun basically beat the living tar out of Finn the entire match.
That's it.
And Finn was called Gutsy for what? It was a 20-minute match? For the entire 20 minutes, he was called Gutsy.
Gutsy.
So what you got out of this match was
Gutsy,
Braun's
Finn
a
Balor.
beast, and Finn was gutsy.
And I think that's exactly what they're trying to do, is to say, look, we want to start the process of building Finn Balor, and he's got to face tougher opponents, and Braun Strowman has to be in a match. And you look at it and you go, how do you continue to elevate Braun Strowman and show how Finn Balor is elite and is willing to take on all comers? You have this match. It really could have been done differently. It was okay. It was, nothing to be disappointed at whenever Finn goes out there.
It
but
was probably Braun's best match because Finn was able to carry a lot.
Exactly.
And Finn's an incredible performer. I just don't know. While I'm watching this, I don't know how we get to this point.
Exactly.
The storytelling, and this is why we watch this. There's storytelling. It's a male soap opera. It's play fighting. We all understand this. I buy in. I watch. I'm heavily invested. How do we get from A to B? Yes. There's got to be something in the middle. And it feels like there was just nothing there. It's just like, all right, well, cool. So we're friends this week. Next week, we're enemies. I didn't get it. What do you think about SmackDown?
Ooh, SmackDown was very interesting in that you got a chance to see a couple fresh matchups that we hadn't seen in a minute. I liked Miz TV. I felt like, okay, having the New Day with the Miz talkers and the way it led to a match and things like that.
This was a promo you didn't mind.
Exactly.
It was a promo you didn't mind. I thought it was good. I even thought when Miz messed up Fortnite, he recovered very gracefully.
This
is a guy who doesn't panic. Like you can tell when a guy messes up a line and then he just freaks out.
Yeah.
And he can't get it back on track. Miz messed up. Miz knew he messed up. He acknowledged he messed up and got the train right back on the tracks. It was done well. It was exceptional.
I forget, what did he say instead of Fortnite?
Was it like four? It was like Fortnite or Foursquare or something.
Yeah,
it was something like that. It was
it was funny, right?
He was like Foursquare, Fortnite. Everybody was like, Fortnite?
Yeah, exactly.
And the crowd starts giving it to him. He's like, look, guys, I don't play that video game.
Exactly.
He did a great job with it.
Exactly. And that's what you want from somebody with the microphone, is complete control. He's a host too.
Yes.
He's filming a reality show. He does a lot of work still on MTV. So he's a natural in front of the microphone now after 10 years on WWE. He's it. And that's why guys like that get Miz TV. It's awesome.
He is carrying large parts of SmackDown.
Yes.
I would say it is him, and you know what? To a much lesser extent,
exactly.
And you might disagree with me on this, but to a much lesser extent, AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now it's all Miz. It's the Miz show. SmackDown is Miz Live.
Do you like the way they had Billie Kay lose fast to Lana?
They're doing something with Lana. Do you follow her on Twitter at all?
Yeah, yep.
So they're doing something with Lana. They're trying to build her up. Hear me out here, because she's now qualified for Money in the Bank by beating Billie Kay. Could you see both Lana and Rusev both winning Money in the Bank, and then you've got your first Money in the Bank male and female husband-wife contestants ever? Could you see this happening? Because they're giving Lana a push right now. This is something that I think they wanted to do for a while. It didn't really get off the ground initially because she's not very good in the ring. If you watch her, she's not very good. If you watch this match, when she went to go throw, I don't know, I think it was Billie Kay into the barricade, like Billie Kay had to throw herself into the barricade. It was poorly executed. But they're trying to strap a rocket to Lana's back. it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. And they're giving her basically Rusev Day treatment. So I don't have a problem with it. I think you brought the Iconics up and you don't know what to do with them. Here's your other new toy, and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. So you put them in a spot where they have to lose a lot of matches, and I don't know why, because they're both very entertaining on the microphone. Like, I find when they come out to cut their promos as they're walking to the ring, I stop everything I'm doing to listen. I mean, they are very pretty and attractive girls, and I think they do a very good job playing that annoying heel. So it's kind of the 2-for-1 here. I'm not sure what you're going to do with them. But
Gotcha.
with Lana, she's going places. I'm not sure if she wins Money in the Bank, but they're strapping a rocket to her back.
What did you make of the promo and the ensuing brawl between AJ Styles and Nakamura? And he announces, we finally kind of were curious as to what was the stipulation. Was it going to be a cage match? Was it going to be no DQ? Was it going to be false count anywhere? In the end, it turns out Nakamura spit it out, and he said, it's a last man standing match.
I wish you could spit it out like Nakamura did. It was so awkward.
Last man standing.
Yes. I enjoyed the brawl.
Yeah.
I thought the promos going back and forth were kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy that brawl. I thought that was done really, really
And surprisingly, I like Renee's outfit. I thought she was looking good.
Well. She always looks good.
Yeah, but I think she's been featured more, and it was a nice attire, nice get up.
What'd you think about Gallows and Anderson?
Good match.
They beat the Usos.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I thought it was a real good match.
I feel like the reason why Gallows and Anderson were brought over to SmackDown, be elevated, and it's good to get them a win versus the Usos. That helps kind of kick them off, and that's what's good about the Usos in their place, and that's why when you have good main eventers and then you allow mid-carders to get to that level, I mean, Gallows and Anderson aren't really mid-carders, but the way they've been utilized, they kind of feel that way, but Gallows and Anderson are for real, and this is how you build them right back up to the stratosphere. I think WWE is waiting for Gallows and Anderson to grab the bull by the horns and take it to that next level. Gallows and Anderson are legit. They're for real. They're not just crumb bum guys that are that should be used as mid-carders. They're main event guys.
They're guys who can. They're like a 5-tool player, right? They have good in-ring work, and they're
not Breezango.
No, they're not. They can cut legit promos. It's one thing to see a guy be able to line up and go head-to-head with another guy when you have two guys who can do it and line up against two other guys who are straight savages on the microphone like the Usos are, and go back and forth with them and not miss a beat. It's awesome. And I was like, awesome. This is great. I was really into this match. I thought it was very well done. I thought it was good. Something I didn't really think was very well done was Jeff Hardy's promo when he was coming out of the locker room.
Can you make it out to me?
Synapses and neurons firing.
I didn't get it.
What the hell was going on?
I didn't get it.
I was watching this with Lorraine while she was on we were FaceTiming, and I was like, what did he just say? I was like, WTF? What is he talking about here? Nobody knew. However, what I did know, Daniel Bryan taps out Jeff Hardy, and what I thought was an awesome match that could have been given at least 30 minutes instead of the 13 they were allocated. I thought this was a great match.
What about it for you made it special? Because it was two guys with experience, two ring veterans. They seemed to play off each other very well. It just seemed like it was a quality wrestling match that we all kind of wanted to see more of. And that's what you want, because you only get so much TV time, and the match in and of itself, 13 minutes, we could have seen a lot more. But the match itself, it was very awesome to see, because those two guys, you would think if you put them in the ring together, would have chemistry. And when you have two grizzled veterans in the ring together, you just know if they tell the story right, we want to see more of it.
Yeah, like you said, they have complementary styles. They're both ring technicians. Jeff Hardy's a little bit more of an aerial guy. Daniel Bryan's more of on the ground. I'll submit you and make you work to win the match. Those two styles complemented each other so well. And like you said, both ring generals. Both know what they're doing. They know their way around the squared circle, inside and out, and they showed it. It was a flawless match. It was really, really good.
All right, let's do a quick Doc and Jock stock watch on several of the wrestlers we talked about.
Okay.
Miz.
Up. Way up.
Big E and the New Day.
Big E up. New Day, I'm going to go mid.
Yep.
I'm not really, they're not going anywhere right now. They're just kind of where they're at.
You've clearly established Lana as being on the way up.
Yes.
What do you think about Billie Kay and the Iconics?
I feel like they have all the talent in the world.
Incomplete.
Yeah.
We got to see them in the next couple weeks.
I feel like they have all the talent in the world. Just the way they're being booked is strange to me right now.
AJ Styles and Nakamura?
I'm still bored with it. I am.
Flatline. It's kind of, we're done with it. You're ready for it to be over.
It's how many times do we have to see this match? How many times do we have to see the same thing? I feel bad for AJ Styles and his balls because he keeps getting nut punched over and over and over.
The year of the nut punch for this feud, right?
I'm just kind of over it already. But
Gallows and Anderson?
Up, especially after this week.
Usos
are still up.
Okay.
Even though they lost to Gallows and Anderson, I don't think it hurts them one bit.
Jeff Hardy?
I want to say up. He's not down.
Established, like same.
Yeah.
Flatline.
I want to say flatline, but I think there's like a, like when somebody flatlines and then all of a sudden their heart kind of jumps up a little bit. It's like boop.
A little bit elevated.
Yeah.
Not super high, but working upward, trending upward.
Yeah.
Trending upward.
There you go.
Exactly. And Daniel Bryan, he's made. He's in his own world, right?
So I'm watching this, like I said, with Lorraine on FaceTime. She's like, so why is Daniel Bryan going to fight Jeff Hardy? And I'm like, they need a match. They're just throwing it together because Big Cass and we'll get the Big Cass, is supposedly hurt. So she's like, okay, why? And I was like, shouldn't he fight a bad guy? And I'm like, he should, but, it's like, well, why don't they make Daniel Bryan go bad? And I'm like, so it's like trying to explain wrestling to like a 5-year-old, right? Because she's only been watching wrestling, mind you, for like the last, how long have we been doing this? Almost
31 weeks.
Yeah, half a year or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's like, why don't they make Daniel Bryan go bad? I was like, well, he's the biggest face in the company right now. You'd be silly to do that. She's like, well, why not Jeff Hardy? And I was like, she's like, is he going to do anything else with his brother? I was like, his brother's on Raw right now. And they see Jeff as a main event guy by himself. So it's just a match. Take the match for what it is. Enjoy the match. Just go that way.
No doubt about it.
She was like, okay, whatever.
So who won the week? Pretty much straightforward.
Oh, it's got to be SmackDown, right?
No doubt. It was done right when Raw went off the air. It was a terrible product. SmackDown just had to show up, and they got an easy one. Not even a tough.
They get the blue ribbon for showing up.
Exactly.
So Raw has a 20-19 lead over SmackDown. SmackDown could tie it up next week.
Hit me with the news and notes. What's going on this week?
All right, so Big Cass. They're selling that it's a knee injury from what Daniel Bryan did last week to him. Now, this may be an actual knee injury. Trying to confirm, can't confirm yet, but when they were wrapping up their European tour, it sounded like he legitimately got hurt during a 6-way tag match. And again, it's something with his reconstructed knee. So this requires us to watch. That was why we had the Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy match. If he's not hurt, this is how I see this going down. If he's not hurt, next week, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe are fighting for Money in the Bank for a qualifier. If he's not hurt, I anticipate Big Cass interfering and attacking Daniel Bryan. Samoa Joe, look, if you look at what Samoa Joe has had to go through since he's come to WWE, every time he turns around, it's always something that kind of screws up his push, whether it's an injury to his foot, to a knee, whether it's somebody else bigger coming back, or whether it's him getting pitted up against Lesnar and them not wanting to take the strap off Lesnar. There's always something that seems to derail where Samoa Joe's going. Samoa Joe's one of the, if not the best heel that you've got in your company. I think Samoa Joe qualifies for Money in the Bank, but there's got to be some kind of rub to take Daniel Bryan out. You just can't let Daniel Bryan lose. Do you know what I'm saying? Randy Orton had knee surgery to repair a torn meniscus. He said he's been dealing with it for some time, and now is the right time to get it repaired. He's expected to be sidelined for about 3 months, so probably around SummerSlam, you could expect to see him back. NBC Universal has come to an agreement to keep Raw on the USA Network. However, they did not want SmackDown. Insert Fox, who ponied up and will broadcast SmackDown starting in October of 2019. Rumor is that it's going to be on Friday nights. It's going to take their place of their Friday night UFC. Rumor is WWE may also want to extend SmackDown to 3 hours due to commercial revenue, so kind of doing what Raw does. It's also said that Fox is paying $205 million per year for the rights to air SmackDown. Wow. Overall, it's over a $1 billion deal.
Cha-ching for WWE.
WWE's stock has gone up almost 19 to 25% in the last couple days because of this.
Yes, it makes you kick yourself in the leg when it came out and it was around $15, and you're like,
yes.
wow, I could almost triple my money.
Yes.
You could be invested in something that you love and make some money on it. Oh, man. But look for it, too. I mean, it makes sense. All the business sense in the world. In that, you know what? You got a ready-made product. They hand it. It's super professional. Yep. Vince is on top of it. It's ready to go. Live television. You can handle it. You can do what you got to do. And is that right? It's going to be live on Friday or taped on Tuesday and aired on Friday?
I think it's going to be. So It's going to be aired on Friday.
That's the part we know. It's going to be aired on Friday. It's just when it's going to be
Not
put
sure
out.
if it's going to be live or taped.
Gotcha.
It's still...
It's a TV show ready to go that it could be taped live and then aired at a different time as well. We'll figure that out. But in the end, WWE is a product that's easy to invest in.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because it has shown years and years of revenue. It carried USA. I mean, literally, they're on par on Mondays with the NBA. 2 to 3 million guaranteed viewers, and it's only growing. So imagine if they just now kicked it up a level with an amazing, ready-made superstar. The next one, you're talking about 4 million people if it grows. And that's the difference, is that you do also got to be careful, though.
Figure out your writing staff.
Yeah.
And put some quality product out there and let these guys just go do their thing.
Raw has to be careful because their viewership was down, and it's super tough and things like that. Now, you also got a story about pay-per-views in terms of how much they want us to watch the WWE. I'm not going to be thrilled.
You're not going to be happy about this. So
how many hours?
Major changes coming to WWE pay-per-views. So basically, all of your pay-per-views will go from 3 hours to 4 hours with a start time of 7 p.m.
No, 4 hours pay-per-views?
Now, your big four, your Royal Rumble, your SummerSlam, your Survivor Series, and Mania, those will all be 5 hours long.
Oh, my.
Couple reasons for all of this. The one that they're feeding to everybody is this is to allow for the dual-branded pay-per-views, right? To allow everybody their time and to get as many guys on the show as possible. The real reason is so you can turn around as WWE and say, look, everybody on our network is watching this much more. They're watching way more. We've got more eyes viewing our product. It's not so much that you've got more eyes viewing your product. You just have more hours. So more hours equates to more eyes, more time. You can then sell that for revenue. And that's what the deal is.
Okay, I actually got something to bring to the table, too.
Go ahead.
Do you think the John Cena, Nikki Bella situation resulted in ratings for their show debut?
I'm sure it did.
No, it did not.
It did not.
Breakup drama didn't mean big ratings for Total Bellas, and actually it went the other way. It performed the worst it ever did since the worst premiere it had since the show has been on. It 0.27 rating with a demographic of the 18 to 49-year-olds came in 24th among cable originals on Sunday.
Wow.
So
really?
People might be over, actually, the fact that it could have been a work and the fact that we saw over the weekend that maybe because they were hanging out, TMZ caught them together. I think people are over their relationship, and it didn't translate to TV. If they were doing it for ratings, which maybe probably they didn't, but it didn't help. That
you don't think so?
I do believe it was.
At
but
this point, I believe it was all fictional.
Yeah, and it didn't translate the show. I can understand why, because
do you not watch the show?
I watch the show. I watch it 100%. Of course I watch it.
I know. I asked you tongue in cheek, and you were so serious about. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, I watch it.
It's great.
I watch Total Bellas, Total Divas. It is a little bit too much into their relationship, and you know what else made it worse too? John Cena actually is playing to the camera now. Now he's telling jokes. He's not a robot anymore. So I looked over at Andrea and I said, look, see, this is what television does. People reacted to the real John Cena where he was like, I got all these rules. Don't you dare take off your socks. Now he's in every scene in the new season. He's all telling jokes. He's like more human. I'm like, he's totally playing up to the camera now. It's not real anymore.
Well,
it's not real. No, because now they did a scene where he's like, okay, it's time for the new rules here in the San Diego house. And he's like, actually, there's no rules anymore, guys. You can be original. And that's why I have these Sunday dinners. And it didn't come off authentic. Yeah. And it's him playing to the camera. And if you're not invested in these guys, it's too much. It's too much now of like the seeds planted that they're going to break up. That was the whole first episode. To review that, you could have missed it. I'd say Total Divas is a little bit better because they have more characters. Total Bellas is just really hyper-focused on the Bellas, but it involves Daniel Bryan and an inside look into Cena. But now it's not the real Cena. It's the perception of Cena because people told him, dude, you're a robot. You got 500 rules?
Do you think...
That's not the real Cena.
Do you think the real Cena is the robot, or do you think the real Cena is the guy who's kind of funny?
No,
because John Cena is actually a funny guy.
No, but the real Cena day to day is OCD. I think he's
super type A. Like, he's got a schedule.
Yeah, no, the guy that they showed and portrayed on this week's show was the exact opposite of the other guy. And that's why it's an overcompensation. Okay. Because people told him, dude, you come off like an OCD asshole. Be cooler. And this is what you see. It's a total different thing if you watch the show.
He's kind of an OCD.
Yeah, he is. I like that guy. Be that guy.
I like that guy.
He had a 75 contract for his gal, to be on the show, and now he's more fun and playful. But it's too much drama. It's too much playfulness. So All right, cuz. Great podcast recording. I loved it. 31 episodes in. Great time spent with you. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast. Real quick TV note, if you're a subscriber to Showtime, Mauro Ranello, renowned broadcaster, is doing a documentary about bipolar and his journey broadcasting big events. And by everybody that's interviewed him has said, oh my God, it is out of this world, with an in-depth look at his stuff. Check it out. We'll maybe give a review next time.
People who have seen it, got a sneak peek of it,
love it.
Say it's incredible.
And his media tour was awesome talking about it. And anytime in May when you can talk about mental health awareness, we're all down for that. For Adam Strozinski, I am John Macaroon. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com.